Shalom, giving all praise to Yahweh Bashem, Al Shah Bashem, Mukakodah, Shalom to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect out there. Shalom to you all. And I'm going to entitle this video, The Beast is also known as the Man of Sin? Question mark, question mark, question mark. So this is, this guy is from the IUIC. He goes by the name, his real name, this is a fake, fake account. Well, it's a YouTube account. But this is the tallest man in IUIC, according to what I know. Unless they get some, what do you call it, not Niolonic people, then he loses. Is an individual that goes by the name of Deacon Ethan, I call him. Ayathan Ethan. They don't even say it in the right Hebrew anyway, the correct Hebrew. So he put a bunch of comments here. Like right here, he said, for one heretic calling out other heretics is as equivalent to the teapot calling the kettle black. Where are we heretics? So right here, this kind of caught my eye, so let me make a video on this. Okay, let me just read this out. There's some other, give me a second. Let me do this before I do this. He makes references to the MOTB. Okay, here's another question related to the RFID microchip. He said the RFID microchip is nothing more than an electrical, it should be electronical, even know if that's a word, electrical tracking device and nothing more. Well, we say that the RFID, when the whole planet Earth receives it, or the 95, 98% receive it, is going to be the fulfillment of Revelation 13 and 15. Okay, it says here, the beast itself is not even literal, let alone his mark. Now I'm going to do something. He said the mark, he said the beast itself is not even literal. Well, it is literal, meaning it's NATO and EU nations, which includes America and Canada. And 2,000 years ago was the Roman Empire. The Roman military force of the Romans took down those surrounding nations, which included European nations, like Spain, Greece, Great Britain, and so forth and so on. Anyway, it said the beast itself is not even literal. It is literal. It is literal. It's NATO and the EU. Let alone his mark. So now let's look up the word mark in Revelation again. I hate to sound like a broken record. I'm going to show you that the word mark, when you go into the Greek, it's literal. Let me see. Not sin in all of its forms. Revelation, Rev 13 and 16. And he calls us all both small and great. Small and great is literal. Small people and great people. Rich and poor, rich people and poor people. Free and bond, people in prison. People that are not in prison, to receive a mark in their right hand, that's literal, or in their foreheads, that's literal. In your right hand or left hand, pursuant to Revelation 20 verse 4, or in their foreheads, that's Neuralink. Also, there's a company called Neurotech, which came out long before Neuralink, but it does the same thing. Look it up. So he said the mark is not literal. He said the beast is not literal and the mark is not literal. Let's go. Let's find out. Sounding like a broken record here. You can't see it because you're under a zombie spell. Bishop Bullwinkle got you under a zombie spell. You look just like Bishop Bullwinkle. A stamp. Graven. Graven is a little. When you think of graving, you know what? I might even. Let me see. Mark 8 times, graven 1 time, and that's in the book of Acts. A stamp. When you mail out a letter, you get a stamp, so it can go from point E to point A. An imprinted mark, literal, of the mark stamped on the forehead or the right hand as the badge of the followers of the Antichrist. There's no such thing as the Antichrist. There's no guy named Mr. Antichrist. Antichrists are people that don't accept the Messiah. The mark branded upon horses. You take a brand, you put it on the horse, so if the horse or the cow goes out of the gate and it goes into the next farm, then you say, well, that's my cow. And he said, this is my brand on it. They brand every cow, every bull, every horse. They brand it. It says things carved, graven, carved. You carve things in wood. You graven things in stone. Sculpture is also stone. Graven work, stone. When you, if your grandmother died, you got enough money, you get a tombstone, and it has a name, right? So and so, such and such, grandmother, daughter, wife, whatever, however, mother. So they would get a grave and they would spend a lot of money. You talking could be $50,000. You see them big grave sites. So each grave that has a tombstone, you have an expert that chisel in the name. All right. So there again, another example of it being a physical thing, of idolatrous images. When you make idolatrous images or idols, you grave it in. If you make it out of gold, you use an engraving tool. You make it out of wood, out of stone, you use an engraving tool. You make it out of wood, you use a carving tool. 8 times, mark, charagma, graven 1 time. Acts 17 and 29. The question is this. You're not going to see it. You're not going to get it. But will you get it when it's time for you to take it? In order for you to buy and sell. Acts 17 and 29. This is the only time the word mark, charagma, which is G, the G, for example, stands for Greek. In the Old Testament, you'd see an H there. G, Greek, 5480. Charagma. The only time, it's 8 times in the book of Revelation. Let's go ahead and count that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Revelation 13, 17, 16, 17, Revelation 14 and 9, Revelation 14 and 11, Revelation 15 and 2, Revelation 16 and 2. Let's read this. When you put this in here, you're going to get a cancer. It's cancerous because the 5G, 6G is going to be communicating with your chip. It says, and the first went out and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, which is a chip. How you gonna get if you they say it's sin in all of its forms. So if you continue to sin, you're gonna wind up with cancer. You guys sound stupid. It says, grievous sore upon the men or women, which had the mark, the charagma, the physical thing, the thing engraved in your hand or your forehead, of the beast. The beast is NATO and the EU, which consists of America and Canada. Those are two NATO nations. And upon them which worship his image. Now it doesn't mean they're gonna give you an image and say bow down to it. When you take the chip, that means you bow down to the image. And it's not a picture of Caesar Borgia. It's not the movie The Greatest Story Ever Told, with starring Max von Sydow. Because Nate is with his stupid ass. See, the image shall speak. Then he goes, put it up, brother. IT, put it up. You're moving too slow, IT. Put it up, IT. Give me explosion while you at it. Stop the cap. He's an entertainer, bro. That's Nate the entertainer. So he puts it up, and it's Max von Sydow talking in the movie The Greatest Story Ever Told. And in the backdrop, you can see Sidney Poitier, because he was in the movie too. He was from Canaan that carried the cross. They said, well, the Canaanites are African. Let's get an African actor. Sidney Poitier should have played the Messiah. So it says, and he causes the image to speak, right? Revelation 13, 16 and 17, right? So here this clown puts up an image of Max von Sydow or any other guy. William Dafoe, he played so-called Christ in the Last Temptation of Christ or something like that, which I saw that movie in a theater. And the movie was around about that he was having sex with Mary Magdalene, which is bullshit. All right? It said had the mark, physical thing, G5480, of the beast, and upon them which worship his image. So there it goes. So you're going to get matter of fact, let me do this. Show you that the noisome and grievous sore. Let's show you that it's a cancer. A cancer is a noisome and grievous sore. A tumor. And fell a noisome, let's look up the word noisome,
Strong's G 2556. Carcass.
Carcass. Apparently a primary word of a bad nature, not such as it ought to be, of a mode of thinking, feeling, acting, base, wrong, wicked, troublesome, injurious, pernicious, destructive, baneful. When you go to the doctor, you got a lump. What they're going to do is they're going to do a diagnosis, and they're going to use two words. If it's good and it's not cancerous, they say it's benign, which means good. If it's bad and it's cancerous and can get worse, they call it what's the word? Damn, I can't even think of the word. Somebody help me out, y'all. My brain is going melting. Malignant, which means bad. Malignant means bad. That means it's cancerous. Benign means it's good. That it'll go away. You know. So let's come back. A noisome and grievous
Strong's G 4190. Paneiras.
Paneiras, which means full of labor, annoyances. Because you see that bump and you get nervous. Wait a minute, this bump, and it's getting bigger. Annoyances, hardship, press. You don't know whether to go to the doctor or not because you don't want the doctor to say that's cancer and you're going to have to cut your hand off or whatever the case may be. Or you have to go for chemo, which most of the time chemo kills you any fucking way. Press and harass by labors, bringing toils, annoyances, perils of a time full of peril of Christian faith and steadfastness, causing pain and trouble. Yeah, that bump, you start to feel pain. Bad, right? Of a bad nature. Cancer is of a bad nature. You hope you're not going to die. Oh my goodness, I got to go through all this stuff. In a physical sense, diseased or blind. Right, blind. People that go blind is a cancer. Everything that makes you sick is ultimately a cancer. In an ethical sense, evil, wicked. Okay? Trying to help you, man. I'm trying to get you from under the clutches of Bishop Bullwinkle. Y'all got to look up Bishop Bullwinkle and you're going to crack up. Grievous. Okay, sore. This is what I wanted. I wanted sore. Sore. S-O-R-E. Sore. Let's listen to it.
Strong's G 1668. Helkas.
Helkas. I'm not going to go to the root. A wound, especially a wound producing a discharge, pus, a sore, an ulcer. That means it's inflamed. So anyway, let's come on back. So now what'd you say right here? And by the way, if you take the chip, then you're doomed. The beast is also known as the man of sin. So now, therefore, his mark is sin and not no RFID microchip. It says the beast is also known as the man of sin. Found something else here. Where is that? Okay, so this is what I did. I took actually the phrase is that man of sin. You're not going to find the phrase the man of sin. You're going to find the phrase that man of sin. That man of sin. One time, exact phrase. 2 Thessalonians 2 verse 3, one of my favorite chapters too. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first. That was 70 AD. And that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. Doesn't say nothing about, there's no phrase where it says the man of sin or that man of sin. If I was to put in the man of sin, you're not going to get an exact phrase. So the man of sin represents Esau as a whole, the Edomite. But not every Edomite is a member of the NATO and the EU. It's talking about the military and the leadership, the presidents, the generals. A regular Edomite walking down the street, he's not the beast. He's an Edomite, but he is not the beast. He's an Edomite. Okay? So y'all need to really, but you know what? If the spirit ain't on you, you're not going to see it. You're just not going to see it. And you put in about 20 comments here, and you always do this. Then you say, sometimes he says Jehovah, sometimes he says Jesus Christ. Okay, first remove the plank from your own eye, and then you will see clearly to remove this speck from your brother. No, y'all don't got no speck in your eye. Y'all got a boulder in your eye. And where's our plank? Where is our plank? Huh? Here we go. Saturday evening, when the Sabbath ended. No, Saturday. Saturday is not in the King James. It's not in the Bible. What you getting with this? You're adding to the scriptures. You're adding to the scriptures, man. The weekly 7-day Sabbath every Saturday, sundown. Yeah, because you're following the small hats. Y'all are Saturnalians. You should be wearing black. Anyway, Shalom, on to the next.